Today's audio, we're going to be sharing a concept of what we call jumping strings. What jumping strings means, your current life is on a particular string color. Picture your life as if you are looking at it from a larger overview, a bigger perspective, a bigger vantage point where you see what is around you. So, as you are looking at your life from above, you notice, you see that you are currently in a grayish-brown looking string. This string has your current belief system, your current level of consciousness, your reactions, your habitual patterns that you regularly play in based on the programming and what you have chosen to play in at this particular time. And you don't judge yourself, by the way. You are only observing what is around you that you are not able to see when you are operating within your color string. So then, you see that there is a blue string, there's a golden string, there's a violet string, there is a yellow string. So, these are not the only strings available, but we are choosing these for now as a basis of what we are talking about to understand what is available to you in this particular context. But there is more colors. There's a green string, and so on and so forth. You see that you are currently operating in a grayish-brown string. With this understanding, you come back into your physical reality with the knowledge of where you are, and you have seen the different colors of experience and existences that is available to you, that you are not readily able to see where you currently are, as we have mentioned. For example, the blue string represents being in your truth frequency when you're speaking. This would be represented by your throat chakra color. The green string representing relationships, love, divine expression, knowing oneself, expressing oneself through the energies of peace and harmony within oneself and other relations with other people, whether that be your family, your friendships, your romantic relationships, your marriage, etc. That is what the green string represents. Now, in this particular representation, we are speaking of higher levels of expression, expressing yourself at a higher level through the frequencies of love, true authenticity, divine self-expression. And the same thing goes when it comes to experiencing relationships with others. You become an example of what is available, what is possible for others, as you treat others as you wish to be treated. So there is the representation of the green string. The yellow string would be something to do with your power. Knowing who you are, feeling who you are, acting from the perspective and the knowingness of who you are, being in alignment with your true power, with your true self, and how you wish to experience yourself as a divine being. And by extension, this would mean that you are allowing people to be themselves as they wish to experience themselves. And you are also recognizing their truth, their power, who they are. The violet string is operating from who you are and being okay with the others being exactly what they choose to be. This string means not hiding yourself, being yourself totally. And it comes with higher vibrational knowledge, higher self-acceptance, higher acceptance of others. They may sound similar as we speak, but as we said, these are the strings we're beginning with. The violet string also comes with what you would call psychic abilities, tapping into different higher energies of expression, of experience, and allowing yourself to experience these. As you get a handle of this particular string and the consciousness level that it has, then the natural thing that tends to happen is that you wish for other people to tap into this particular consciousness level. The golden string is that of abundance and receiving higher knowledge, higher cosmic knowledge, higher frequencies of the divine, higher spirit guides. It isn't to say that your current spirit guides are not sufficient. They are. They are more than enough. What we're talking about here is a different experience. We're coming from the perspective of living from a grayish-brown string. We trust that you get this. So how do you begin to tap into different levels of experience, different consciousness, different strings from that which you are experiencing? When you come into this world, you know you have the full understanding that you are worthy. If you notice a 2-year-old playing, it isn't worried about what the other person is doing. It is having fun. It is expressing itself. It is dancing. It is speaking its truth. It has questions. And the beings that are coming in at this time in your world are advanced beings. You may recognize that the children that are coming in at this time are higher in energy, in frequency, and vibration. It is because of where you are vibrationally. And this is a beautiful thing. And so, as your young self, you know that you are worthy. But as the you listening to me now, you may say, well, if I am so worthy, why did that happen to me? Why do I continue to experience this situation? We say to you, because of the programming of those that love you, some may have programmed you without knowing what they were doing. They were only following the footsteps of those that came before them as parents, you see. And so, this may be through an energy of love, but it isn't really who you truly are. The program of not, don't do this, don't do that. Money doesn't grow on trees. Well, what do you use to print your money on? So, as an example, you are a young child going to school and you start getting bullied and you begin to feel less about yourself. It feels uncomfortable in your being because that is not who you are. Your soul is speaking. It isn't true. But because your soul isn't really as loud as the bullies, it is easy to ignore that truth and begin to protect oneself through various ways of protection. You feel the uncomfortable feeling the more the soul says, this is not who you are. When Ethel was 22, she began to drown out the voice of her soul and higher family. When she began to hear it, she would drink to suppress the voice that would help her because she didn't believe it. And along with that, she was attempting to drown out the programming, the things she had been through throughout her life. Up until that point, everything became louder within her. Because, by the way, she set this up so that she can awaken to who she really is. You see, before you even come in, you have a plan of what you are going to experience at particular times in your journey. But it isn't to say that every single choice is calculated and already known. It isn't like that. There is a reason you have free will. And so you could choose anything at any point within that plan. And that would create other sets of circumstances, which then will create either programming or beautiful experiences, depending on the choice you make, you see. Either way, because she's a master, she set her life up in the way that she did so that she can reach to a point where she can begin to remember who she is and step into who she is, you see. The unworthiness feelings within her became strong and strong and strong. So did her soul family. Her higher self was bringing her guidance, love, and support. Until finally, she chose to listen to her higher self and her spiritual team, and she began the process of self-rediscovery. And this is exactly what happens to all of you when you decide to have a different life experience. You begin to receive guidance from your spiritual guides or your higher self. In this particular story, Ethel chose to know herself, to have a better relationship with herself and with others, you see, because she had been hiding who she is from people. There was a programming that was constantly telling her that she wasn't good enough, that she wasn't worthy, and that she would never really amount to anything. This came from a program somebody instilled in her when she was younger, about 10, 11 years old. And so, when she was 22, she began to listen to the whispers of her soul and her soul family and her higher self, and tapped into the discomfort at the same time of changing from one operating system to another, which was unknown at that time. And so the ego kicked in. Hey, what are you doing? What do you think you're doing here? You are going to abandon this way of being for something you know nothing of because you've never been there. Who's going to protect you in this unfamiliar territory you are stepping into? You see, resistance was very loud in her head and in her body. But she persisted, as she wished, because she was through with this particular way of being. And so she dropped that and began doing meditations and various healing modalities. So, in this particular example, Ethel tapped into the green string of consciousness and experience. She began seeing the world differently. People are not that bad after all. They are probably also going through some programming that they're trying to figure out how to maneuver through that so that they can liberate themselves to find out who they truly are and step into that. So I have compassion for them. This rude comment and this rude person here, really, I'm not taking this personally. I have compassion for this human. And I wish for every human to experience what I am now experiencing. There's a higher level of experience in self-relationship and relationships with others. And I choose the better experience of peace, divine peace and harmony within myself, and I wish the same for others. If those relationships with other people began to change, she began to operate with an open heart, with an understanding that everyone is divine, and everyone ultimately wants to experience what it is to be themselves without coming from a program that someone else put in there or that they created themselves in order to protect themselves, depending on the situation that they were in. So, this is how Ethel moved from a grayish-brown string to a green string the moment she decided to listen to her higher spiritual family. She began to tap into her divine gifts and talents. And so, this means that at a visual level, the gray-brown string began to change colors from gray-brown to brownish, then white, then green. Everything was being colored by green as green was drawing closer to her and as she was getting closer to the color green. Finally, when her heart opened and she had an understanding of what it means to love yourself, to be okay with who you are and express your divinity from your heart, and to offer love to others who may need it, to be open to whatever is shown to her by those that may not be aware of who they are quite yet, and she has compassion for them, the more she tapped into the green string. So, the same can be said if you want to tap into a blue frequency. You know that this means this is the frequency of truth. This means that you're going to be finding out who you are and expressing it boldly, unfiltered, yourself completely. Because depending on who you are, in the expression of your divinity, authentically, there are specific codes that comes through your voice to touch the world in a specific way, you see. In a way that is going to help others see themselves, be inspired by you, so that they can begin to tap into who they are and speak their truth as well. That string is available. So, you want to tap into the yellow string, similar to the frequency of truth. This one is the frequency of power, self-power, knowing what it is that you are in your very unique power, tapping into who you are and experiencing your truth in your emotional body, what it feels like to be you, and how you can boldly begin to feel more of your truth and show others that they can feel their power. They can express their power. They can know how to distinguish what their power is from that which is suggested onto them. Someone comes to you with a deceptive frequency, and you know your true self, your true power, because you are tapped into your yellow string of power, frequency and consciousness. You will feel it, that it isn't your truth, and you will drop it like a hot potato. Because at that time, you're not available to be influenced in a way that is not aligned to who you are. You will recognize it and choose to not participate in that particular frequency. So, you want to tap into the golden frequency. This is the frequency of abundance and joy. The frequency of more. This is where, when you begin to tap into what more feels like for you, depending on where you are, this is relative, you see. $20,000 to one person may be a lot of money. $20,000 to another person, that is pocket change, you see. This is an example. A mansion would be a dream home for one person. A mansion would be way too big and really unnecessary to another. So that is relative on what abundance means to you. So you begin to look at your life. I wish to be abundant. I wish to have this amount of money. I wish to express myself in this way, with luxury, the comforts of life. When it comes to money in particular, you will not experience what it is, what it feels like to be abundant if you are afraid to spend your money, to circulate that into your economy. You are holding it closely. And so this means that it can't breathe. Just like you breathe in and out, abundance requires breathing as well. Breathing in and breathing out. So this means that blessing your money, when you're about to spend your money, you bless it for enhancing your life at that moment and for enhancing your life in general. You bless it, that it may enhance others' lives and it may be multiplied. And so this means that it will be multiplied for you and for the other person receiving this money, you see. For example, you are at a restaurant and you pay your bill in joy and gratitude. And so when it comes back to you in some way, you will feel gratitude in your heart. For example, a friend of yours gives you money for no reason when you're with them, and it was unexpected. It even surprises you a little bit because you didn't expect this, but you are grateful. Another thing we'll say about this, do not turn money away. If someone gives you money, we've seen some people, no, I can't accept this. I can't. Then you are denying abundance. So then, we invite you to recognize that. If you are choosing the golden string consciousness, we advise that you look at your relationship with money. Most likely, there's a program embedded in your subconscious that is playing at an unconscious level that you are not able to see with your physical eyes. But you can feel it because it's constricting in your field. I can't accept this. And then you go into your mental thought. Who do they think they are? Why do they think they need to give me money? Do they think I'm poor? Why? That isn't what is going on here. Especially if you begin to tap into the frequency of abundance, we suggest that you notice the stories that are going on in your mind about money or abundance in general. Some may say, why buy a big house when you can buy a reasonable sized house and raise your family there? Why would you buy such a lavish car? Why not buy an SUV that is commonly known? There's a story there. And so, when you are in surrender, and you're really open to look at what programs are running in your mind unconsciously, because they do come up. They're loud in your frequency, in your field. Then you begin the work of self-investigation and self-rediscovery. And then you also look at your relationship with money, your relationship with other people, your relationship with your own truth, your relationship with other people's truth. Because if one does not know their truth, they may have a tendency to judge other people and project their own insecurities or inadequacies on the other person speaking their truth. And so when you are tapping into your own truth, you will find that the programs will get louder, and then you get to recognize them and work on those so that they are no longer overpowering you, your consciousness. You will find that as you keep going in your self-rediscovery, you attract teachers, masters, where you resonate with their content, with their style, and how they speak their truth. So there is the concept of jumping strings. This is Thoth. Let us know what you think in your comments, and we may expand on this topic. Should you wish to know more, we thank you. Thank you. Thank you.